And in some way, we all do this all the time. We have our feelings, we have our perceptions, we have our narrative and our story about something. And then when we speak about that something, we speak about the narrative. But of course, we all know on one level or another that the narrative is not the thing itself. It's our story about it. The narrative is often a lot of what creates the suffering to begin with. It's how we keep our mind, how we approach it, and what we do with it. So, and at the end of Sergei's talk, that's what he came to. It's like, what does practice have to do with work? Practice has to do with work the same thing it has with every single other thing we do in our life. How do we keep our mind? What are we doing right now? And as Zen Master Bon Soeng used to say, when you're doing something, do it. So when we actually do the task, we're actually in it. That's a lot different than our idea about it. And that's a critical point. Just to notice how often we're in our ideas about something rather than the thing itself is an amazing practice. Just to watch, just to be observant. Where is my mind right now? How is that orienting me in my life? That's practice. You know, again, we use this word practice so often, and there's the form of practice, how we cross our legs and put one foot in front of the other, how we hold our tongue in our mouth as we're doing our meditation practice, how our body sits on the pillows. That's the form of practice. But of course, for most of us, when we're at work, we're not in that posture. We're not in that form. So our practice takes a different meaning. It's how are we in what we're actually doing? How separate are we? We sometimes say inside and outside become one. But if I'm here thinking about my work while I'm working, my mind and my work are separate. And when Sergei talked about our direction is to help all beings, and then he said, so maybe that means you have to care for the sick or console the grieving. And that, of course, is one way of keeping that direction of helping all beings. But Sergei said something else. There's hundreds of people in his office. How is your presence affecting those around you? How are you bringing your energy, your experience, and your expression to the moment? What do you bring to that office culture? Do you bring division or do you bring harmony? Do you bring wisdom or do you bring selfishness? Of course, we all think our job, of course, is to bring wisdom, not selfishness, but in reality, we find it's all mixed together. So, what am I right now? What is this? How can I help? What is it that it's appearing in this very moment? And what do I do with it? That's what practice is about. That's living our life moment to moment. We have the formal practice where we prepare ourselves. And that formal practice is really quite important because there's so much in our past and so much what's happening in this present moment that pulls us away from ourselves, that makes us artificial, fearful, and acting in ways that really breed more selfishness and division. So unless we're aware, unless we're present, unless we're paying attention, the human tendency is to go towards self-centeredness and suffering. That is what humans do. And it's my experience, at least, that for most all of us, we have to apply awareness, attention, and presence to be able to work with that tendency. So practice at work is just like practice at home, practice at the store, practice when you're walking on the beach. What am I doing right now? And how do I apply myself in a way that brings healing, peace, harmony and love to the world rather than self-centeredness, division, greed, anger, and delusion. And then we do it moment to moment to moment, non-stop.